Sydney Sweeney, the first ever female. Oh, James Bond, welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of your support. Of course, let's dig into this. So, Sydney Sweeney made a comment. She was asked about being a Bond girl, okay? And she had a response to that that now has got a lot of people worked up both for and against. So, we'll dig into it. I want to let you know what I think about it. I'm curious what you all think. I think I have a little more of a nuanced opinion. I know a lot of people are just stop with the gender swap, and other people that's all they want, and no consideration for anything else. But let's dig into this a little bit. Now, Amazon, for those of you that don't know, Amazon recently bought the rights, creative control of the films for of reportedly $1 billion, which is absolutely insane because as it says in here somewhere, well, further down, the article I was reading, that they've basically used all of the books, right? All of the books they've gone through them all. There's not really much original left from the book, so they're kind of, winging it, shall we say. But anyway, Sweeney was asked about being the next Bond girl, and she said, I think I'd have more fun as James Bond. Now, knowing Sydney Sweeney, that could have been a little bit tongue in cheek, a little bit sarcasm. I think she might have, probably knew what she was doing. Not that I'm saying she would say no to doing it, but you understand what I'm meaning, what I mean. Now, I think she has the chops acting wise and the physicality. I've heard nothing but great things from the boxing movie she has coming out. So I believe that Sydney Sweeney could play that role. I don't think she should play that role. And of course, she's kind of radioactive, so to speak, right now because she's doing a lot of things that not that long ago would not have been a big deal. In fact, it would have been very typical in Hollywood for an actress like Sydney Sweeney to lean into what we now call the male gaze, and then the whole controversy, ridiculous controversy with the American Eagle jeans campaign and on and on. So all these people who want to see a female James Bond, I don't know if they want it to be Sydney Sweeney. Now, that being said, here's my thought on this whole thing is I say no, and here's why. James Bond is a male character. Let James Bond be James Bond. That being said, I have no problem whatsoever with Sydney Sweeney being a female action star. And I think that's where we get into a lot of these problems here is people who maybe aren't that talented, but they've got a narrative they want to push. So they use pre-existing IPs to push that because they can't do anything original of quality enough that anyone's going to watch. So they want to get that built-in audience. But how about do something original? I think Sydney Sweeney might be great in her own action movie. I mean, come on, it's not like it's the first time. I mean, look, Alien. Now, a lot of the ones I'm thinking, they're not all pure action, but a lot of them are. We've got Aliens, the Kill Bill movies, Charlie's Angels going back. Not the new one sucked, but going back with, Drew and Cameron and Lucy Liu. Terminator and T2, The Long Kiss Goodnight, one of my favorite action movies with Gina Davis, Samuel L. Jackson, written by Shane Black, who's he's done a lot, including the Lethal Weapons. But if you have not seen that, it is criminally underrated as an action flick, not talked about enough. Go see The Long Kiss Goodnight. Cutthroat Island, I mean, that bombed, but point being, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Go all the way back, and I'm trying to keep ones that are even from not. I've got a few on top of my head that are more recent, but I'm going way back. I mean, was it the '70s or '80s with Foxy Brown and Pam Grier? We got the Underworld movies with Kate Beckinsale. You had Edge of Tomorrow. Now I know Tom Cruise was the lead in that, but still, Emily Blunt played a big role. You could almost call them co-stars, co-leads. La Femme Nikita from the '90s. It's a movie called Spy. You had Hannah Haywire in 2011 with Gina Carano. She also did another one, Daughter of the Wolf, in 2019. You had Wanted, Salt, Tomb Raider, all with Angelina Jolie. You could go back. Now, this was more thriller than action, but you could go back all the way back to the '90s with The Net and Sandra Bullock. More recently, a great tense action flicks revenge movie was Peppermint with Jennifer Garner. She was fantastic. Go back to the 90s, you got The River Wild with Meryl Streep, The Brave One with Jodie Foster, Point of No Return with Bridget Fonda. Um, Lucy, more recently, you had Lucy with Scarlett Johansson. Of course, you had the Resident Evil series with, and you had Ultraviolet. Flight Plan was another one. Red Eye with Rachel McAdams. Again, some of these were a little more recent. Another one's more recent. A couple that I really liked. I wish she had become a huge action star. A lot of you might know her as she was done dirty in the role, but Taskmaster, and that is Olga Kurylenko, The Courier. Fantastic low budget action flick. Go check that out if you like action. She's a badass. Could have been a huge action star, I think. She was also leading another one called Momentum. You had a movie called Domino. My point being, this idea that the audience, because action movies are mostly a male audience, that they don't appreciate or accept women in roles is simply not true. What they don't want is James Bond is a male character, and he's James Bond. You want to give Sydney Sweeney the lead in an action flick where she's the female. Great, do it right. A quality original action flick. Give it to Sydney Sweeney. And if it's good, I promise you it will be embraced. The big problem with all of this is a lot of the way the women are written now is just terrible. It's just terrible. It's like the writers who don't know what they're doing took what they think are the worst qualities of a male and put them into a female, and then in the female it's supposed to be celebrated, right? But like all the movies I named, these are real people, real characters. They have struggles, they have flaws, they overcome them, just like all of us in life. They have character arcs, they're great stories that they're involved in. The acting's fantastic in most of what I named. And I mean, I gave you a long list there, and there are more I just can't think of. But so my take, I'd love to see Sydney Sweeney be the lead in a good action movie. 100%. Don't want her to be James Bond. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Appreciate you checking out this video. As always, do me a favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel. Really do appreciate it. It helps out tremendously. And I will see you in the next video.